So today we're going to talk about hydrosphere. This is going to be part 2 of hydrosphere, and remember that hydro means water. The hydrosphere is all the water on the earth in all its phases of matter, including liquid, solid, such as ice, and gas, such as water vapor. This includes both fresh water and salt water. So why is water important? Well, one of the reasons that water is important is because as a living creature, we require water to survive. In fact, all living creatures on Earth require water to survive. So it's important to understand where water is and which water we can actually use for our own survival. So in what form is water on Earth? Well, on Earth, water is mostly liquid. It covers about 75% of the Earth's surface, and almost all water on Earth is salt water or in the oceans. In fact, if I'm looking over here at this chart, this diagram, we see that ocean water is 97% of the water on Earth, and only about 3% of it is salt water, meaning water with very little salt. That means out of $100, 97% or 97 of those dollars would be ocean or salt water, and only 3 of those dollars would be fresh water. So where is our fresh water? Now it's important because we can't drink salt water as humans, so we need to understand where is our fresh water. Well, glaciers and ice caps kind of act like the great freshwater freezer. The ice caps are located near the poles, the North and the South Pole, and they trap a lot of fresh water, in fact, most of the fresh water on Earth. Another place that we can find fresh water is in groundwater. So when it rains or floods, we have water that seeps all the way through the soil and the porous rocks. I mean, there's a lot of space, and they find a spot where they kind of build an underwater lake, and we refer to those as aquifers. And the other place that you can find fresh water is surface water. Now, out of all the fresh water, almost 70% are glaciers and ice caps, 30% is groundwater, and 1%, only 1% of 3% is surface water, meaning lakes and rivers. So if I were talking about money again, out of those $3 that I had, only 3 pennies would be surface water, or water that is fresh water on the surface of the earth. So where is surface water found? Well, surface water can be found in frozen water and soil, in lakes, in the atmosphere and biosphere, so within living creatures and within weather, within non-frozen soil, swamps and marshes, and rivers. So if I'm looking at lakes, we think about lakes as being quite large, but I'm looking at lakes making up 21% of surface water, which is only 1% of fresh water, which is only 3% of all the water on the earth. That breaks down to, out of $100, only being a little bit more than half a penny. Where does our water come from? Well, our water that we drink generally comes from 2 places. It comes from groundwater, which is water in aquifers under the ground. And a lot of states in the United States use groundwater. And you'll notice that as the state gets darker, that means that they have more, that they use more groundwater. So you'll notice that California, Texas, some of these states that are dry but have a lot of people living there will use more water. Now, in our area, in the Seattle area in particular, they use the Tolt and Cedar rivers. So they use rivers as fresh water. And then you'll see here this is the Cedar River, goes up through Renton, Seattle, and that is the river that they use for fresh water sources for people to drink and water their gardens. Now, why is this important? Well, water is everywhere on Earth, but how much of it is really fresh water, which means water that's potable, drinkable, things that we could use that aren't filled with salt? And of all of that fresh water, how much do we actually have access to? I mean, are we going out to the ice caps and just gonna go get all that fresh water and bring it back? What happens if we run out of water or we have a drought?